All right, today's notes will actually bring you through the rest of the chapter. So that means that we will be doing part of the notes today for 4-3, but will not be doing all of them. Before we get started on actual 4-3 things, there's a few words we need to talk about. We have, what does it mean to be included? Well, that would be the side in between the angles there. Not included would be on the outside of the angles, as in the second picture. Today's focus is on side, 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 and side, angle, side. Okay, so to help us out with that, we will need to remember a couple of things. A reflexive side is when it's being used for both triangles. So PR is being used for the triangle on the left, and PR is being used for the triangle on the right. So obviously, since it's the same line, they are congruent. So that will help us prove congruency for triangles. Okay. Vertical angles, recall that vertical angles are when you have two lines that intersect. I've always called them kissing angles. Okay, they are congruent. So in this example, WXV is congruent to ZXT. Actually, it's a lie. Let's put that as TXZ. Okay. Midpoint means if this E is in the very middle of KW, then this side must be equal to this side. So KE must be congruent to EW. And then an angle bisector, we talked about this last section. But if the angle bisector of BAC, that means that this angle is the same as this angle. So BAD is congruent to CAD. All right, we are ready to start proving some triangles here. Okay, so we want to know, are the triangles congruent? And if so, by which congruency theorem? So we're going to write the congruency statement. Okay, so I circled a couple of them. 4, 5, and 10 are the ones we're going to look at on this page. So zoom in a little more so that we understand these tick marks. Since this has 2 and this has 2, that means that those are the same lengths. The same angles, so that's a side, an angle in the middle. Notice that's an angle in the middle. And then both of these sides are the same. So in order, that is side, angle, side. Since they have a same side, a same included angle, notice that A is in the middle, and a same other side, yes, they are congruent, side, angle, side. All right, what about here? 1, 1, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. All the sides match up, so that would be side, side, side. All right. What about this one? We have side, an angle, and then a side. Here we have a side, and then an angle. Notice they do not go in the same order, so therefore they are not congruent. All right, going the other way around. What if I said, hey, I want these two angles these two triangles to be congruent, meaning equal, and we're going to prove that they're congruent by side, 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 because that's what's right here. How can I do that? Well, we already know that this side is congruent to this side is congruent to this side. If I made this side congruent to this side, I would have side, side, side. So the other piece of information I needed to know was that DB is congruent to ZX. Okay. Number 3, side angle side. So I have a side and then a side. Remember, the angle has to go in the middle. Okay. I have a side and a side, and the angle has to go where they are joined. So when I say in the middle, it's where they connect. So I would need angle Y to be congruent to angle R. Okay. All right. What if I had a side and an angle? Then the side right next to it would have to be congruent to something. So a side and an angle, side right next to it. All right. Side and a side, you can write those congruency statements. For time's sake, I'm going a little faster there. So it just takes a lot of practice. So here I have 2 sides, and I know that these vertical angles must be congruent. So now I have side, angle, side. Again, let me stress, if you have side, angle, side, or side, 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 the triangles have to be congruent, meaning they are the exact same. I could stack them on top of each other if I was able to pick them up and twist them around. Okay. Number 6, this side is congruent to itself for each of those triangles. So it must be side, side, side. I know nothing about the angles. Okay. Here I have a side and then an angle, and then this side is congruent with the other side. So side, angle, side. Right. And this is more practice with what we did on the page above it here. So go ahead and practice that. You can always come back to the notebook to see if you got that right. And this will conclude the video.